Hi, everybody. Welcome to, I'm going to say the Parent Pivot Podcast.
The Parent Pivot Podcast.
Right, but today's St. Patrick's Day.
No, tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day.
This is when the podcast airs.
Oh.
I'm wearing green.
I'm wearing pink.
And she's wearing pink. And I just thought, you know what? We released this on Tuesday mornings, even though we record before then.
Didn't even think of that. I'm like, no, that's tomorrow.
St. Patrick's Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because you and I went on a date on Saturday, which was like, what, the 14th?
Yeah.
And we went down and we're walking around holding hands, having a nice Saturday afternoon thing. And there was a boatload of people with shamrocks on and things in their head. And we're just kind of scratching our head going, okay.
It's not the 17th.
It's not, I mean, we're kind of very like, don't you celebrate St. Patrick's Day on the 17th? And even then, it's not that big of a holiday, really.
Yeah. It's a reason to party.
Yeah. So whatever you're doing today for St. Patrick's Day, and if you're enjoy, have fun. We're here with another Parent Pivot podcast, and we always like to start off with something fun. If you're listening to us, you know what I want to do? If you're listening to us, and our listenership is growing, so thank you, audience, for sharing us with your friends. It is growing, especially in California. California has overtaken Georgia as the number one state listening to the Parent Pivot podcast. So shout out to our peeps out there. Woo-hoo. Keep on sharing it. Georgia, folks, come on, let's go. We live right here in the backyard. Keep sharing and stuff like that. But no, if you're listening to the podcast, do us a favor. We're also on YouTube.
Yes.
And we're trying to get stuff going on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram and YouTube, we'd love for you to share those feeds.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I was going to talk about the YouTube thing.
Okay, talk about the YouTube thing.
Because we actually haven't been recording ourselves until today. So we need to get good about that. I wanted to explain ourselves about that, though. We do not have a studio. As you guys know, we're kind of mom and pop and do this kind of by the seat of our pants a little bit.
Should we show them the backyard?
No.
Okay.
I think we have before,
okay,
actually.
All right, well, I won't do it again.
But anyway,
sorry.
All that to say, we usually record in our sunroom when we're doing the YouTube. And in the winter, it's too cold to be in here. So we've been in our guest bedroom, which is not a place that we would want you to see.
Yeah.
It works as everybody's office and the guest room
this is
and a playroom.
This is a very low budget podcast and YouTube thing. I mean, we have no budget. We do it for ministry purposes only. And that's why we're here faithfully in green and pink today. So anyway, if you're listening and not seeing us, we really want you to go to YouTube and Instagram, take one of the clips that our daughter, Jamie Lynn, will take from this interview and others and share them.
Yes, please.
Yes.
That would be great.
Okay, here we go. We're a couple minutes in. It's a dreary day of rain here in Georgia, but we are going to bring you some good content today. So, sweetheart, here comes the question that Ed McMahon always asks Johnny Carson. What are we talking about today?
Yes. So
that dated me.
We received a letter with grandma and grandpa that are watching their grandchild, toddler age, and relieving the mother once a week of, duties and things and just trying to help out. And many of us do this. I have lots of friends who do this regularly and watch their grandchild or grandchildren once or twice a week and whatever. The problem becomes, and this grandparent was feeling, was we really want to have a break sometimes where we are turning the TV on and the parents aren't wanting the TV on.
Well, they were talking for only 30 minutes too. We're not talking about hours here.
Right.
They were going out and doing things, but kind of the option was...
Yeah, it sounds like they're very active and things like that. So, and I think most of us do that. We want to take the grandchildren out to the park and out to do things and, go to the library, go shopping at Target,
sometimes weather
whatever.
doesn't permit.
Sometimes, depending on where you live, that's really hard to keep a toddler busy that long.
And we're not talking about watching the FBI shows or Law and Order. We are talking about Miss Rachel. Now, mind you, the two of us, we have every Miss Rachel song committed to memory.
Yes.
Or Bluey.
Miss Rachel, Bluey, We also have Mickey's Clubhouse.
Oh yeah, she loves Mickey's Clubhouse.
Yeah. But this particular parent was concerned that, adult, this particular parent of an adult child, in
son.
this case, grandparents, were concerned just about being able to talk to their adult child about this when the adult child is feeling pretty strongly that we don't want our child watching TV. So this becomes a problem. And I can say this now, this is my experience. It may not be everybody's experience. There are times when aches and pains take over. And I have a really hard time picking up our granddaughter sometimes because my lower back will really start hurting, or sitting on the floor with her for extended periods of time. Now, I always sit down on the floor with her and do that, but when I'm getting up, I'm hurting. So our adult children oftentimes don't see that. They can't appreciate it because they don't have that experience. They may be thinking, if you tell them you've got aches and pains, they may automatically be saying, well, go work out, do some stretching, things like that, which, yes, all of that helps. Doing an ice plunge helps, sitting in a hot tub helps. All of those things do help, but that's still not going to take away everything all the time. So, this particular case, I think the grandparents are feeling a little worn out and they want to be able to have this conversation with their adult child. In which case I would say, and they're not wanting to harm that relationship with their adult child. Right. So I, when you ask me a question like, what would you do? What I do works for me, but it doesn't necessarily work for everybody that's listening to this. So where I would say we all should be able to have a good civilized conversation with our adult child. We might want to approach it with, hey, can we talk about some things about watching little...
whatever his or her name is.
Let's call her Jenny. I don't know. About little Jenny and
we're usually talking about toddlers.
And watching her.
Yeah.
And let's have this conversation. Because there's some things about me and Dad that you don't know, and I would like to share with you. So you may need to be vulnerable and share, we're really tired out. We want to be able to do this for you. We are taking little Jenny out to do a lot of things and keeping her busy. We're keeping her active. We're not spending a lot of time inside, but can we negotiate some things about that? Can we have a conversation about what you might allow as far as a break for us for, watching TV? And when the weather's bad, is there just one movie perhaps that you would let little Jenny watch on those days where we can just relax and maybe sit in a regular chair and put our feet up for a little while? But again, I think it's all in the approach. It's not, if you go to your adult child and you are saying, hey, we just can't do this. We're hurting. We're blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm banging on the table.
Moving the mic away. She's animated.
If you approach with that, like you've reached your limit and then you're spewing and letting it out, it's not going to go well. But if you prepare ahead of time for a soft heart, if you are asking your child, hey, can you guys come over for dinner Friday night? We'd love to have a conversation with you, and whatever else. Have that type of preface to the conversation. Do you have anything to add to all of that?
Well, as I'm hearing and listening to the lady who sent us the email or whatever it was, I don't remember now. I think it might have even been on Instagram. The more information you can give ahead of time, or even be more proactive, even if your adult kids haven't said we don't want them watching screens. Like, well, when we've been watching Flory, and there have been times where Jamie Lynn will say, hey, I don't want to watch your screens today. I'm like, okay, and so we will
listen to that.
Thank you. See, we're getting old and we can't even put words to things. But then there are times when all of a sudden she's in a hurry. She's got to go rush. Like the other day, she had to take off and Florrie didn't want to go with her. And I said, it's okay if she stays here. Well, then after she got bored and was not wanting to do Legos, I thought, well, let's put on Mickey's Clubhouse. And things, because we've done that in the past. But I'm also very conscious and aware that I don't want to overuse that privilege, because I know this generation does not want their kids to be on screens. And I want to honor that, because, you're watching kids as young as, 5 or 6 years old. They're in restaurants with mom and dad, and everybody's on a screen and not talking to each other.
And kids can't sit still.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what I would validate with them. It's like, hey, good for you guys for wanting to do that. But with everything, there's always a balance.
Right.
And things. I remember you were raising 4 kids.
Right. And one of the things and I've actually said to my kids as they became parents, I regret having a TV at all. Now, that being said, I would probably still have a TV, because I had 4 kids in 5 years. I was exhausted. And in order for mom to stay sane, I needed that outlet. I needed to be able to put on a movie. And so we would cuddle up together on the couch and watch a movie together. And sometimes I'd doze off.
But they were like Disney movies?
Yeah, they were movies that, I was a pretty strict mom as far as what my kids watched. So it was things that were okay to watch. Right. And to be really honest, there were probably days, and especially when I was pregnant, and I'm sure I've told this story before, but when I was pregnant with Jamie Lynn and I had the 2 boys who were 2 and 3 at the time, by the time she came, they were turning 3 and 4. But when I first got pregnant, that first trimester, I could not keep my eyes open. And there were times that I would turn that TV on because I couldn't function. I couldn't stay awake. I couldn't do whatever.
You did it for sanity purposes.
And I literally couldn't function. Then I remember one day you came home and I was dead asleep on the couch and the boys were sitting there watching TV with me, sitting next to me on the couch. And you said, how long has mommy been that way? And Wesley looked at you and he said, all day. So, there are stages of life where you can handle things well and stages where you can't. But again, this is communication and conversation.
So going back to what I was saying, I think it's good to affirm your adult kids for choosing less screens as possible.
Yes.
Now, you can't cut them out 100%. And things like that.
Well, you can if you have the energy to do it.
True.
Sure.
But I'm also watching our pregnant daughter who has gone through the first trimester of throwing up and whatever, and still trying to watch Florrie and going, oh, the heck with it. Let her watch Mickey Mouse Club or Bluey or whatever. So kind of similar to you. Yeah. You do what you need to go do. But getting back to a grandparent doing this, I think it helps to, if you can, be proactive. Like if you're going to be watching, like this is an instance where we're coming back after the situation. But for those of you who are maybe starting to watch grandkids and things, hey, we want to make sure that we're doing this the way you want. I know you say no screens, but let me just ask this. Because of this, and this, whether our bodies hurt, we run out of time, would it be okay if it was even just 30 minutes, of Miss Rachel or Bluey or a Disney
whatever
thing.
Pre-approved.
Yeah, would that be okay? Yeah. We're not talking about doing it all the time. We're just talking about sometimes that would help us watch them and just kind of show them that you're on their side.
Right.
So you win them over, as opposed to creating an adult child parent partner, bash. Because again, you want relationship over being right.
Right.
Now, if they don't budge, you're gonna go, okay, that's great. And maybe what we do is we start a little thing down here in the show notes to saying, okay, ideas on how to keep a 2.5-year-old entertained. The library, coloring, Legos. What else have we done? We've gone for walks.
Actually, at that age, we have Legos and Florrie does okay with it. But when the baby comes, we're going to need to get rid of those. But Duplos are better for that age group. But
yeah, whatever. It's like coming up with multiple things other than turning a screen up. So, but basically, I guess what I'm saying is be compassionate.
Yeah.
Be understanding. be on their side. You want to be
Yeah.
the hero. You don't want to keep creating little things along the way that could possibly turn into the bigger things. So,
And if you're doing all the other things that they want,
yeah,
like you're feeding them the way they want, you're putting them to sleep the way they want, all of those things, you are on the right track for sure. But I would agree, the validation of what their goals are should be, you
right,
know, celebrated
right,
and
right,
approved and
right.
whatever else. And maybe you could even frame it in such a way that it's, you know what, when you're home with mom and dad, I wouldn't recommend doing this with the child, but with the parents, would it be okay if, at mom and dad's, you don't get to see this, but when you come to grandma and grandpa's, you get to do this here. And that will always keep them looking forward to grandma and grandpa's as well.
Right.
But again, that's something that's going to have to be pre-approved by them and things like that.
Basically, I think what I want to say is you don't want to make the choice of screens or no screens a mountain to die on.
Yeah.
You want to be the best parent, pivoter to partner, grandparent, team player that you can be, and things. So, again, it's their kids. It's that next generation. We actually want to influence them more. And we want to have a relationship with the adult kids. So whatever way you want to do this, and then you can always ask the question, hey, in this particular rare instance, on a day when it's odd and the rain comes and whatever you want to put, would it be okay to do this occasionally? Not like, because again, I think with the lack of information, they don't hear your heart. So make sure it's done. Oh, that's the other thing. Make sure you do this face to face.
Yes. Do not text.
Do not do it over text. No. Do not do it in a phone call. Make sure they see your heart. 90% of communication is your heart. Like, that's why we want you to watch YouTube right now. Because if you're on YouTube right now, you can see our smiling faces. And you can say, I really like these guys. And you will too. But no, seriously, 90% of communication is all about how it's said.
Right.
So if they may not like what you're saying, but they're going to go, you know what? Sure. Let's go ahead and do that, occasionally in that instance.
And you're also letting them know you really want to help them.
Yeah.
You really want them to have relief. And gosh, I remember what it was like when I had my kids, and I would have given anything to have a day off. That would have, so I really want to bless you that way. And we love spending time with little Jenny and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. It's almost like being the paid teenager babysitter.
Yeah.
Like, tell me everything that you want and I'm happy to do it, but we're doing this for free.
Yeah.
We're doing it out of love. And guess what, guys, at the end of the day, we get to spend time with the grandchild.
Yeah. Not everybody gets to.
You got to look at that as a win.
Yeah.
And all these other little things, they don't matter in the grand scheme of things. And I realize that some newer moms are very strict.
Yeah.
And they're looking up things on the internet and they're using ChatGPT. And we didn't have that when we were raising kids.
No, if you spend any time on Instagram, I am, for whatever reason, my Instagram is on the algorithm of getting things for toddlers because there's one in my home. And the amount of information that comes whacking you is, I'm always like grateful I did not become a mom in this era, because it creates such mess in your head, and it's just is so full of fear. Like, I'm going to ruin my kid. I'm going to, am I doing this right? And blah, blah, blah. Oh, this person says this and this person says that and blah, 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 blah. And, most of us raised our kids without the internet and, talking to friends. What do you do? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah.
You know what I'm grateful for?
Yeah.
I'm not on Instagram. I don't want an algorithm chasing me and things. But yeah, that's what that next generation is. And our 4 kids, they have 4 different parenting styles. Well, actually, there's one that doesn't have a parenting style yet because
it's not a parent.
They haven't started their family yet. But out of the 4 kids, the 3 of them that do have them, they've got 3 different parenting styles.
Yeah.
And things. And we've had podcasts before where it's like, okay, keep your mouth shut and welcome that out. Bite your tongue. They get to raise them the way they want to. Let them figure it out. They've got to figure out their parenting and what they want to do, and might not be what we would do. And things.
No, and in all honesty, if you think about you raising your kids, doesn't matter what age your kids are. I also want to address, people who aren't grandparents yet, but maybe you see that coming in the future. Maybe you have a child who just got married or whatever. these are things to keep in mind and conversations to have with your kids before the kids ever come. This would be great conversation to have. But I forgot what I was saying about when I was a parent. I don't remember now. I interrupted myself and
I did cause it. That is a first.
Lost my train of thought. Sorry, you guys. I'm so tired today. I can't. And the weather, I just want to crawl into bed.
Do you have anything else? Because I just came up with an idea. Okay. So because we would like to get more YouTube followers and Instagram followers, I've got my St. Patrick's Day green on. It says Parent Pivot Podcast. Here's what I want to do. I want to offer to the first 5 people that can share us to get a friend to watch on YouTube.
How will you know?
How will I know? They will be honest. They will be honest. I trust our audience. They're parent pivoters. They will be honest in saying, hey, I shared the Parent Pivot Podcast on YouTube or Instagram, and I'm going to claim Steve's quote unquote prize. First 5 people to do that, we're going to give you a copy of our book.
Okay.
13 healthy principles for strengthening your adult-child relationships.
That's not really the title, but okay.
Something like that.
Where is that book?
Yeah, it's around here somewhere. So, hey, if you want a free copy of that, actually, I'm going to put a copy of it in the show notes so you can go look at that. But for those of you listening and who only listen to the podcast, we want to try to get more visual because, hey, maybe we'll start selling these pullovers that say Parent Pivot Podcast. I don't know. I can't think of anybody who would want one. But anyway, I just thought that would be great. So first 5 people, we're going to trust your honesty. Figure out you can email us at parentpivotpodcast@gmail.com. You can go to Facebook, Instagram. Are we on TikTok?
I think we're on TikTok.
I don't know. Everything's at Parent Pivot Podcast. So just go find us on the socials and say, hey, show us that you somehow shared this to get more people on YouTube or Instagram, and you'll and make sure we get your name and address because I need to mail you a copy, and we'll send out a copy of that book.
Yeah.
Or if you'd like Jim Burns' book instead, we could do that. Okay. His book is Doing Life with Your Adult Children. Keep Your Mouth Shut or The Welcome Mat Out. That's what we based it. You're looking at me going, this is going to cost us something.
No, I'm thinking, is it keep your mouth shut and the welcome mat out, or what? Keep the welcome mat out and your mouth shut? I forget which.
Welcome mat out. Keep your mouth shut and the welcome mat out. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we're going to put both books in the show notes down below. But first 5 people, you get your choice of either one of those 2 books. Somehow tell us that you shared us on YouTube or Instagram, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Anything else you want to close
No,
with?
if you're new to us, as you can tell, we're very just low key.
Fly by the seat of our
We
pants.
turn on the video, we have a topic, and we start talking.
Yes.
So we just want you to know that we go through all of this stuff with you, that we, our whole goal is that you know that you're not walking through this stage of life alone, that there are others like you, and we are seldom prepared for this time of life. And so we just wanted something out there that people could glom onto, that they could resonate with and hear some answers to their questions and things like that. Before you jump in, one more thing. I am really wanting someone in the health and wellness industry, like influencer world, to get them on the podcast. And I have not been successful in getting anyone to respond to my messages. Yeah. All these people DM, and
what do we want to
I just want to have a conversation. But if you out there happen to know of someone who is an influencer in this area, who would be willing to come on and talk to people who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever they are, who have adult children. And it does start as young as in the 40s, because a lot of people had kids when they were 20. And so there are those who are saying goodbye to their kids and sending them off to college. So we kind of cover the gamut of that age span. And so I would love, and me more than Steve, but I would love to have someone on who talks about health and wellness, because really the thinking is we can't always have good relationships with our adult children if we are not healthy ourselves. And that health comes emotionally, but it also comes physically. And if we are in physical pain all the time, if we are having issues all the time, we are not going to be able to have the type of relationship with our adult children that we might really desire to have. So I'd love to have someone come in and come on and do an interview with them. I've reached out to Shauna Homan. If any of you know her, she's great. I follow her. Taylor Dukes is great. There's so many that are so great. So anyway, if any of you out there know any of these people, tell them to contact us.
Okay.
That's what all of that was
Yep.
about.
And then I'm going to throw two more things out there. You get a lot of clients from the podcast. Mm-hmm. So if you want to talk about your any situation with an adult child, and we have some that are very regulars with you. It's not like a weekly thing. Mm-hmm. It might be a monthly thing or whenever something comes up. Yep. I'm going to put Julie's information down there. You can also go to meadowbrookcounselingga.com and schedule an appointment with her, or I'm going to put email us at parentpivotpodcast@gmail.com. The other thing I want to mention is in a few days, we are going to be in Frisco, Texas.
Oh,
now,
yes.
A year ago, we went to Birmingham, Alabama to be in our very first grandparenting summit called With Legacy Coalition. This year, we're going back. And actually, because I'm on part-time staff as a chief development officer, and so if you're in Frisco, Texas, and you're in that area, we're going to be at Stonebriar Church this coming Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I will put a link to that in the show notes. There's also a founders dinner on Friday night.
And that is for grandparents.
And that is for grandparents. So if you're a grandparent and you've never heard of the Legacy Coalition, that will be in the show notes as well. Come up and find us. We're going to be at a development table this time, not a Parent Pivot podcast table like last time. Yeah. But come and find us in the what do you call it, the lobby? Yeah, in the lobby. Find us at the development table, and we'd love to chat with you and Julie.
Meet you.
Yeah, we'll be there and stuff. So anyway, that's all we have for today, right? Thanks for listening, and happy St. Patrick's Day. And we'll be back next Tuesday with another edition of the Parent Pivot Podcast.
Bye.